Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. As you can see from the wheel behind me, it is time for another Wheel of TBR, this time for the month of May. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with recapping how I've done so far in April. Now I'm filming this a little bit earlier than I typically do, so I'm not quite finished with my TBR, but we're going to go ahead and go on through and I'll let you know what I was supposed to read and if I've read it. So the first thing that I landed on for April was a fantasy book, and for that I chose A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I have not read this one yet, but I am planning on getting to it this coming week. I have about a week left to read this, so it should get finished. Then I had a book that would fit a challenge from my always fully booked planner, and for that I chose The Good Left Undone by Adriana Trigiani. I did read this one, and this was for the prompt of a person facing away on the cover, so there she is. Then I had an illustrated book, and for that I chose The Clue of the Tapping Heels, which is the 16th Nancy Drew book by Carolyn Keene, which I also read. Then I had a book that had less than 300 pages, and for that I picked Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. I did a vlog on this one. I'll link it up above, but I did read it. And the last one was a retelling, and for that I chose Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. I have not read this one yet, but I'm planning on doing that this weekend, so this should get finished. It's not a very long book. It's a little under 300 pages, exactly 292, so this will get done this weekend, and then I can cross this one off as well. Okay, so with that recap out of the way, it is now time to spin my wheel 5 times to see what books I'm going to be reading in May. Now, I am planning on participating in a couple of things in May. The 48-hour round of the Next Bookoplathon, hosted by Becca, is supposed to be happening in May, and I do like to participate in that. I did it last year, had a lot of fun, so hopefully I can do that again this month. And then I am also going to be participating in round 7 of the Final Book Support Group, hosted by Steph over at Steph Loves. It's a 4-day readathon this time, taking place Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of Memorial Day weekend for those of you in the US. So I'm planning on doing that one as well. So let's see what books I'm going to be able to fit to my prompts and if I might be able to use some of those for those readathons. Let's cross our fingers. So here we go with spin number 1. Okay, so the prompt I got is 5-star prediction. Definitely can find something for that, so let me see what I want to choose. Okay, so for 5-star prediction, I'm going to go with a book from my 23 and 2023 list, and that is Lovely War by Julie Berry. I have heard amazing things about this. This is a historical book with Greek mythology elements, and it sounds right up my alley. So going to give this one a read, very much looking forward to it. I hope it really is 5 stars for me. All right, and we're going to replace 5-star prediction with a classic. Okay, spin number 2. All right, spin number 2 is a book written by a BIPOC author, Black, Indigenous, Person of Color author. So let me see what I want to pick for that one, and I will get back to you. For BIPOC author, I decided to go with a book that I actually picked up from a gift card earlier in the year because I have set myself a goal to read at least a quarter of the books that I purchased in the first 3 months of the year in the second quarter of the year, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and tackle one of them right now, and that is Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is a kind of an autobiography. He is talking to his son about his life and the realities of being a Black man in America. I've heard good things. It's pretty quick, so I'm looking forward to seeing how much of a punch it packs because I've heard that it is quite impactful, and this is going to be my pick for BIPOC author. Okay, we're going to replace that prompt with this one right here, which is any book that has an adaptation, whether that's movie or TV. So that will be the next one. All right, spin number 3. All right, we have a book from Melanie at Completely Melanie's TBR Knockout. I have not been participating in this completely, but I did make like a cursory list of books that might fit the prompt she gave. So let me take a look at the ones for May and see which one I want to do. So for TBR Knockout, there were 2 prompts, both of them based on mom. So the first one was a book that your mom would enjoy, and then the second one was a book with a mom in the story. And I'm going to go ahead and go with that second prompt and read Big Little Lies, because I have wanted to read Big Little Lies for a very, very long time. I've heard good things about it. I know there's a show. I haven't watched it, so I really don't know much about the story itself. I've just heard it mentioned and people saying that they enjoy it, so this is going to be the month that I finally read it and see what I think. All right, and we're going to replace that one with a book with found family. All right, spin number 4. All right, the next one is any book of the month book. I have plenty to choose from, so let me see which one I want to do. As I mentioned, I have a lot of book of the month books to pick from because I have not done a great job with reading them, but much like my goal to read books that I've picked up in the first quarter of the year, in the second quarter of the year, I'm also setting a goal for the remainder of the year to read at least one book of the month book each month. So my book of the month book prompt was perfect timing, and I'm going to go ahead and go with Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is another one that I have heard really, really good things about. This will cross off a prompt in my Always Fully Booked planner to read a 2022 award winner, and I'm curious to see if I will like it because I've seen a lot of people who loved it, and I've seen some people who didn't like it. So we'll see where I fall. I know this has to do with video games and 2 people who are friends. I think it might be like friends to lovers, maybe not. I don't really know. I didn't want to read too much about it. I've just heard good things, and I'm excited to give this one a read. All right, replacing that one with a romance. And we're down to the final spin, spin number 5. And that one is a book with an animal on the cover. So let me take a look and see what I can find. Now, Animal on the Cover came at a perfect time because I am finally almost caught up on the Literally Dead book club picks so far in 2023. I am currently listening to The Spite House, which was March's pick, and I'm hoping to get through the writing retreat this week because I'm almost done with The Spite House. So hopefully I will finally be back on track to read May's pick, which is Whisper Down the Lane by Clay McLeod Chapman. And if you look closely at the cover, there's a little chalk art of a rabbit. So that's what I'm going with for Animal on the Cover because I really want to try to get caught up and be on track for the rest of the Literally Dead book club picks because it's been a bit of a struggle. I've had to wait a long time for audiobooks to come in, which has put me behind. They also chose the 3rd Finley Donovan book for the first pick, and I hadn't read any of the series. So we're finally almost caught up, so I'm ready to tackle May's pick in May. And we're going to go ahead and replace it just so it's ready for June, and we will replace it with stars on the cover. Okay, so now let's chat about some of the other books that I'm hoping to get to in May, and this is not counting books for readathons because for Becca's Bookopoly, you don't know what the prompts are until she rolls them, so I can't plan that one out at all. So we'll play that one by ear, see if I can fit any of the books that I already want to read into that. We'll cross our fingers. And for the final book support group, I'm gonna kind of play that one by ear as well. I might do the second book in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. That's not the name of it, but I'm blanking on it. And Shades of Magic, is that what it's called? I might read book 2 for that readathon over that 4-day weekend. We'll see. I also might do the 5th Gallagher Girls book because that one has kind of been on my radar for a while and I've been trying to read it. It just hasn't fit in. I might also just do like some graphic novels to finish out a series. I might do the 2nd Wayward Children novella from Shauna McGuire. So there's some things that I can do for that one, and that I'm going to wait until it's actually that weekend to make my actual choice. So all of that will be coming. I'm going to try to vlog both Book-a-thon and the final book support group, so stay tuned for those. But in terms of other books I need to read, I need to fit my buzzword pick on for May, and the prompts are a book with flavors, seasonings, or herbs in the title. So for this, I'm going to go with a book that's been on my Kindle for a very long time, and that is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. I love the 12 Dancing Princesses. That's like one of my favorite fairy tales, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I think about this one, because again, I've owned it for a while. And then I also do need to get to another book from my 23 and 2023 list. I'll link it up above. I'm doing really well getting to 2 books each month, so I want to keep that going. I do not know which one I'm going to go with. That's something else I'm going to kind of play by ear, see if maybe I can get some audiobooks for these through my library or through Scribd and kind of tackle them that way. But I do hope I can get to a 2nd book from that list, because right now Lovely War is the only one I've managed to fit on my TBR. And then the last book that I definitely need to read is the 17th Nancy Drew book, which I believe is called The Mystery of the Brass Bound Trunk. So I'm hoping to get to that one as well. Those are very quick and easy. I actually realized that all of the Nancy Drew books are available on Internet Archive. You can read them on your computer. You can't like download them to anything, I don't believe. You can read them on your computer through that site, and that's how I actually read the 16th book. So once I realized that, that made getting these a lot easier, because my library doesn't have some of these like middle teen ones available. So I was having to do some interlibrary loan requesting, which is kind of a pain. But now that I can read them online, this is going to make my challenge of reading a book a month much easier. So that could also be a book that I do for the final book support group. So again, we'll play it by ear, but that is also on my list for May. Okay, so here are the books that I actually physically own, and then obviously I have those other ones that I've mentioned. So I feel pretty pleased with this TBR. It's got a nice mix of genres, some books that I've really been looking forward to reading. I'm tackling some reading goals. The only thing I haven't fit on my TBR is a classic, which I have a couple of those coming up in my 23 and 2023, so maybe that's what I'm gonna ultimately go with for book number 2. We'll see, but yes, pretty good mix of books. I'm very pleased with what the wheel gave me, and I'm looking forward to another good month of reading. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.